you see me. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome to MyLifeWalk.com. This is your brother, your friend, Brian Jones, coming to you truly excited and truly joyful. For this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. I just thank God for how good He's been to me, in spite of me. I just thank Him because He loves me, and He loves me so much that He sent His Son to die for the remission of my sins. He woke me up this morning. He blesses me even when I don't deserve the blessings that He bestows upon me. So I'm excited about the God that I serve. And I truly hope that this video blog finds you encouraged, happy, excited, because we serve a God, a mighty God, a great God, a loving God, that no matter where you are in your life, no matter what you've done, He is yet there to love you and encourage you. So I just thank you for your time. First, and before I get into our topic today, I want to thank you for all of you who sent your prayers and encouraging words pertaining to my dad. He was having seizures, and my mom had to take him to the hospital. But he's okay, and I thank God for that. Latest report that he should be coming home in a few days. I thank God for that. And I don't want to say this because my dad's almost 80 years old. And I've heard it so many times. And I've seen it. You know, People are going to die in this life, but we got to step back. We are believers. We are children of God. And we should be just as excited, which I am, that my dad is coming home. But let me tell you, I'm going to be just excited if God takes him home. And let me tell you why. God, my father, I love him and I will miss him, of course. I will mourn him, of course. But I know who my father is, my natural one. And I know that the God he serves. And to be absent from this body is to be present with the Lord. So how can I not be excited for him about that? If God chose to take him. I'm just as happy if God sends him home. But I know my father. I know who he's always been. High energy, go, go, go. And I can only imagine him sitting in that chair not being able to go, go, go. So my heart goes out to him. So there's a part of me, honestly, I'm just being honest here. There's a part of me that, Father, take your son. If it be your will, take him and allow him to rest in your bosom. In the body that this suffering that he's enduring. And that's compassion, that's love. I love my father. I don't like to see him suffering. But sometimes we're not honest enough to say that. And we don't want it because we're selfish. All we know is we're going to miss him. We don't want him to go. But we do have to step back. Anyway, let me get off that soapbox. We're going to talk about love. Yes, love. It's a beautiful thing. My title for today is Loving the Right Way Avoids a Crop Failure. Now, we want the bountiful harvests of love. We want all that it has, the fullness of it. And that begins with the seed. planting the seeds for that bountiful harvest. We want our crops to be full and strong and produce all the great things that love should produce. Now I'm going to make the analogy of a farmer. So a farmer who grows stalks of corn, that's what he does. He wants that bountiful harvest. And it begins with the seeds that he plants. So he's got to know what those seeds look like. He's got to know what they feel like. You know, he's got to know the attributes of those seeds and what it's supposed to look like when they begin to sprout, and what it's supposed to feel like when the leaves and the stems are coming out. See, he's got to know the attributes. He's got to know what it should look like and what it's not supposed to look like. So love is when we plant the seeds of love, we need to know the same things. We need to know what is love supposed to look like? What are the attributes of love that I need to line myself up with, so that process of planting the seed of it and the growth of it produces the bountiful harvest. Because that's what it's about. That we want the bountiful harvest of love. So what are the attributes? Now, if I just was sitting with you and I asked you the question and you started listing off things just like probably I would, well, if I ask you, what does love look like to you? You know, we give our explanation. But God gives us the specific attributes. We don't have to think about it. And see, the thing is, when we do that, we think about how we see love. From our life experience, from what we were taught, you know. And at a certain point as an adult, you begin to shape love to what you think it should be. But if what you think it should be does not fall in line with the attributes that God says are supposed to be attached to love, then it opens the door to a crop failure. So what are those attributes of love that God tells us about love? And this is 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. If you don't know it, this should become a part of your concept and your mindset about love. It says, love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects. It always trusts. It always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails. But where there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. So those are the principles of what love should look like and what it shouldn't look like. Now, these principles, let's be clear about this. These principles are what your love should and should not look like. Okay? Your love should be patient. Your love should be kind. Okay? Your love should trust. That's what your love, that's what, as we read these scriptures and we read the Bible, look at it that way. That God is instructing you how you're supposed to adhere to these attributes of love. right? So, and he also warns you what your love should not look like, right? So, these are the true attributes of love, your love, what you should be displaying or representing, how your love should be displayed and represented. You know, love is a beautiful thing. We all want it. I get it. I mean, yeah, I do. I want love. You know, I want, I've always wanted. And I'm going to get a little personal. I am a person who I desire so much to be loved. But I kept getting crop failures. You know, I mean, I desired to have real love. But my crops kept failing. And they kept failing because I had my own attributes that I associated with love. And they didn't coincide with the attributes God was telling me I should be showing. See, you know, we all know. We've been to many weddings. We know what the vows are. You know, love, honor, cherish, sickness and health, richer and poor, till death do us part. Those sound good. But what's in your heart about that? You know, I have a lot of friends who've been married a long time, and God bless them. But I also know a lot of people who may not have struggled as much as I have in love, but they've struggled in it. I mean, we will walk away from those vows because the truth of the matter is we say the words, but we don't represent the love, the true love, the principles and the attributes of the true love. Because I will love, honor, and cherish you till death do you part, till death do us part, until you don't make me feel like I should be feeling. You know, until you speak to me in a manner that which I don't think you should be speaking to me. So we tend to have our own attributes, and that's setting us up for a crop failure. Because we don't, you know, a part of knowing what these attributes are and the seeds of love are, the action comes in. You know, so if I'm not portraying the correct attributes of love, my crops are on the way to failure. But even with the seeds of love, the attributes of love that I'm planting and nurturing, there's action involved. Now, there's a book called The Five Love Languages. And there is a website at the bottom of this video blog. If you would like to get that book, it's very good. It's written by Gary Chapman. And basically, the five love languages identify the five primary ways that we give and receive love. One of the ways is gift giving. The other is quality time, words of affirmation, acts of service, and physical touch. And so, basically, in the book, he's describing these five, he calls them love languages, as we'll have one primary love language. We might have secondary and other ones, but there's one primary love language that when we receive it, we feel loved. If someone gives me gifts, oh, they must love me. If they spend time with me, they must love me. If they're affectionate, physically affectionate with me, they must love me. And we love that. That's what makes us feel loved. And that's a beautiful thing. But love is what you do. You know, I get it. We like to receive that. But the action is what you do. So the attributes tells us what love is supposed to look like. the action is what we have to do, right? So the Bible tells me that love is patient. It's telling me that's the attribute I should be showing. The action is being patient, being kind, being trusting. You know, those are the things that I'm looking for. I'm sorry. Being trusting, being hopeful, persevering. That's the action of. That's what we have to do. Because remember, these attributes God has given us, He's given us to portray this. Now we have to do the action of it. So, going back to the love languages, the mistake that we normally make is that we tend to love others based on our love language. So, I'm an acts of service person. I love when people do things for me. It makes me feel loved. So I, in turn, do things for them. That's how I show them love. Well, the only problem with that is that's my love language. So if I'm performing acts of service to my partner who wants quality time or physical touch, well then their love language is not being satisfied. You know, and I would venture to say we don't purposely ignore that person's love language, but we don't stop to think about what their love language is. You know, if your mate loves gifts, it doesn't matter if you like doing that. You know, I don't feel like buying no flowers, but it's not about you. Because if truly that's the attitude you have, that's not how I don't feel that. You're headed for a crop failure. You know, remember the whole goal of this is we want a bountiful harvest of love. And see, and some of you might say, Brian, you done failed at this 5 times. Well, 4 times. Yeah. And I don't want you to be me. To be honest. Look, because now I realize the mistakes that I made. See, I couldn't talk about this in comfort without realizing and coming to light because there's many people who are out there like me. Now, I may not be talking specifically to you, you know, and I get it. But who did Christ go and get? You know, he went to get the sinners who didn't have a perfect life and then told them to go tell your testimony. So this is my testimony. Because I want you to have the bountiful harvest. I want the bountiful harvest. And see, this encourages and reminds me that if I want the bountiful harvest, I got to know the seeds that I'm planting. I got to know the attributes. I got to know what it's supposed to look like, not what I think it's supposed to feel like and look like. I got to know what my actions should be in order to nurture my crops. Because I want that bountiful harvest of love. Because truly, if I continue to ignore the attributes, to understand truly what love is supposed to look like and what it's not supposed to look like, and if I don't pay attention to the action of cultivating that love, I'll be headed for another crop failure. Oh, and I'm going to have a bountiful harvest. Believe that. Oh, I'm going to. Because I now understand truly that I have to get my selfish nature out of the way and not depend on my own definition of what love is, because that has brought me crop failure. But God's word never fails. And if I follow his principles, and I do his work, and I culture those principles and make the action line up with the words, then my harvest will be bountiful. So thank God for another opportunity. Thank you for your time. And I appreciate you and I love you. And God loves you most of all. So be encouraged. I hope you got a little laugh, a little understanding, you know, because it's truly to help us, live the way that God intends us to live in a bountiful harvest in all aspects of our life, especially in love, because that never fails. We do, not love. So until next time, may God continue to bless you. And I'll see you